old books, the classics and things. On this shelf, although I do still have too many pretty old books. I realized that I have like 4 or 5 Pride and Prejudices. I knew I had a lot. This one I'd forgotten about. I knew about this one and this one and this one. And then the one that's in the complete set over here. But this was just in my pretty old books section, and I flipped it open to see what it is because it says Harvard Classics on it. And then also right here, Jane Austen. I opened it up and it's Pride and Prejudice. And I was like, oh. Okay. So I put it there with the rest of the chaos. This one is ugly, so it will probably never be relegated to the Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen extravaganza, which eventually is going to just be a shelf of its own. But anyway, it's just nasty looking. There are so many like complete sets that are gorgeous, and this is the one that I have. Anyway, so that's this shelf. Put my stones back out, read, the train, all the things. This shelf has been revamped. So Bethany got to stay. This used to be the indie author shelf. Now it's me and Bethany. So Bethany got to stay over here. When I get the rest of her books, she's going to start squeezing this way, which will be a problem, because as I publish more books, I'm going to be squeezing that way. So she might be demoted at some point. Anyway, all of my books in a single line. These are doubles, because these are the ones that I own. These are the ones that my brother bought, and I never gave to him. They're signed, they're waiting for him, but I keep forgetting to, like, take them to family events, or, like, get them to him. So they're sitting here so they can stare at me, so that the next time we might see each other, I will actually take them. Anyway, oh, and I pulled out my mug that says Mandy Grace. Yeah, I don't know, that's that shelf. And then going down, the hedgy corner used to be up here. It was lowered to here. Also revamped a little bit because he didn't used to live here. But anyway, the hedgy corner is now with the hedgy books. I don't have all of my hedgy sisters who are published books. I don't have them all. But I have some, so we have a start here. Hedgies. They'll take over the shelf at some point, but hedgies. And then I have my indie authors down here. Not all hedgies are indie authors. Some of them are traditionally published. But, you know, hedgies, indie authors. So, there's that. And then Bethany hiding up there. In the place of honor. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I put my beautiful hedgy mug over here on the hedgy shelf. It doesn't really fit in the hedgy side of the shelf, but it's fine. Then we come down to my fantasy and sci-fi. Guys, we have space for more books. Don't faint. Anyway, it's fantasy sci-fi shelf. There's also a TARDIS and a hedgehog. This one lights up, but I'm too lazy to do it right now. And then you come down, and we have Jeanette Oak, and then 3 books on the end that are not Jeanette Oak, but they did not really fit on any other shelf. And they're, you know, same time period-ish as Jeanette Oak books, so they get to live in that corner behind Sir Quilbert. So there you go. I was trying to keep this all the way up there on the indie author shelf because it's a note that came with the Windshaper. The author, Kate Argus, painted this. Gave me a thank you for buying all the books, so I was keeping it up there, but then I had the hedgy mug over here, and it was just too crowded, so the note is moved. It's fine. I know that it belongs with Windshaper. So that's that shelf. And then we scoot over here. These 3 are what's left, basically, of my just, I don't know, casual normal fiction. I don't know what to call it. It's not classics. Or fantasy and sci-fi. So, a lot of it is, well, this shelf is a lot of historical fiction other than Kingsbury. And then there's Kingsbury, which is a lot of, like, contemporary romance, which is not typically my genre, but some of her books are really, really good. Some of them feel she's funny, okay? My mom obsessively read her when I was a child. So I sort of like have a nostalgia for Kingsbury, but reading her books, some of them are like ridiculously good, tear-jerking, page-turning, ridiculously good, okay? And some of them are incredibly formulaic and boring. And I think, I don't know, as an author who, like, in some way understands what she does, right? I think what happens is her natural writing and talent is obviously the tear-jerking, page-turning books. But because she publishes so much, like this is probably not even half of the books that this woman has published, because she publishes so much, so fast, I think her deadlines sometimes detract from her quality. Which is how she ends up with some books that I'm just like, well, this is formulaic and boring. But some of her books are amazing, and I never know which one of those two ends of the spectrum I'm gonna get when I pick up a Kingsbury book. So it's a bit like, you know, Russian roulette with books, but it's fine. That's Kingsbury. And then we come up here, and I have a piano, and or that used to be a candle, and now it's just an empty jar that says bookstore. Yeah, I don't know. Those are historical. Those are Kingsbury romance, and then this is a random conglomerate of things. Because all three of these shelves are alphabetized by author. Like they're, you know, it's one experience. But somehow it broke down to like, that's almost a theme, and that's all Kingsbury, and that's random. But it's fine. And then we have my kid bookshelf. Kid books. Kid books. Kid books over here. Kind of there. This one is kid bookish. This one's really not, but it doesn't have home. So that's where it's gonna live. And then we go up to my, well, two things. Author stuff, and then more classics. So, the more classics, we got, this one's not technically a classic, but it's written, it's a Pride and Prejudice fanfiction. So, it goes with Jane Austen, but not like with my pretty Jane Austens, you know. It wasn't good enough for that. Anyway, we have some classics. I don't know if you'd call these classics necessarily, but they're old, and it's fine. Anne of Green Gables. I've never opened these, but I have read this series. My parents have this exact set in the box. Theirs have been opened. Anyway, Mark Twain, Frankenstein, which is actually a really good book, you guys. You should all read Frankenstein. Anyway, and then the authorship. These are books that I use for reference or research. So I have some 4 Robin Hood books over here. And then this is all King Arthur stuff. There's some obvious, like, King Arthur, or The Fall of Arthur, or Arthurian myths, you know. Obviously King Arthur. And then there's others that are, like, Dragons, Fairies, a Dragon Field Guide. Less obvious that it's my King Arthur stuff, but, like, that's my King Arthur stuff. And then we have these 2 shelves, well, 3 actually, that are author things. So I try to read, I fell off this year a bit, but I try to read one book on writing, craft, or professional development every single month. These are the writing, craft, and professional development that I have read. These are the ones I have not read yet. Or those, I haven't read those really. So, yep, it's not all of my books, because a couple of my books, like Save the Cat, for example, are over in my writing project situation, and I need to pull them out. But anyway, yeah, I started to organize this, and then decided it was not worth it. So I kind of have, marketing over here in this corner, and like editing stuff here, and then like story structure, plotting, brainstorming, bleh, mess over here, in no particular order at all whatsoever. Yeah. And then down here is more of the professional development mindset, maybe not obviously writing related, but like it was. You know? So, there. Oh, and then also my word books, dictionary, English synonyms, words, handy decoders. This is such an old book, but I kind of love it. Anyway, things. All the shelves. My egg collection. Yeah, that's that shelf. Okay, and then we have this shelf, which is my Jesus shelf. Those two books don't actually, they're not in the Jesus shelf situation, but they didn't really have a home. Like, there is space on my fantasy and sci-fi, but those aren't fantasy and sci-fi. And that book down there that I told you about, that's not fantasy or sci-fi, so like, they don't have homes. Anyway, Jesus shelf, I have some journals and papers and things from when I was having a Bible study with some JW ladies who were visiting my house once a week. They came to the door, as they do, you know, and I was just like, let's talk about it. So we did. It was actually kind of traumatic because I have social anxiety and the whole thing was stressful, but I also really enjoyed it. So that's the remnants of that. And then I have some Bible study, some research stuff. These two books are ridiculously amazing and everyone should read them. This I bought in my research with the JW ladies, in fact, since they don't believe in hell. I don't really have more to say about that. And then there's like music and things. This is my Bible shelf. It's literally basically all Bibles. And here's also my current like journals and things that I'm using. So I pull out this bag for my daily devotions and then put it back. It's not very attractive, but there you go. These are old journals and calendars, because my calendars are, hello, a sort of like reading prayer planner. Planner, that's the word I was looking for, not calendar. Same difference. Anyway, so yeah, that's all old stuff. These are some Bible study things that I did a while ago. And this is turning into the leftovers of my jail ministry Bible study. Sort of like the JW Bible study has like chaos. That's what this corner is for the jail ministry. Yeah, that's that shelf. I have these two manga books over here just hanging out. I've got some coloring books and some book launch planners. This one's been used, this one has not been. Also the Strange Planet, who doesn't have a home. And then we go down into my writing world. So we have candles and tea as before. There's actually some extra like cups and things in there that weren't at the other house, but it's fine. Story Bibles. A bunch of really old writing. Like this one that says spelling here is the original Lucy's Legend, The Legend of the Thief situation. African Grace over there, which is a book I haven't published, but my mom really wants me to. Lots of things. Lots of old writing. These are empty notebooks that can be used. These are empty for story Bibles. I'm actually going to use one. I'm going to revamp the Dystopian Trilogy story Bible. Since I wrote that book and like started the story Bible when I was just using singular notebooks, but now I've like perfected my process and I use these 5-in-1 notebooks now, so I need to get a 5-in-1 notebook and transfer all of the chaos from the Cindy Cassie experience into one of these. This is a box of the, what is it called, like 1 Year Adventure Story or something. It's a writing class that my parents took me through when I was, I don't know, in high school, middle school, something like that. And then the one on top is The Creative Way. It is Ted Decker's writing class that I took when I was like 20, 21. Yeah, there's like notes and things in there from those classes. So that's my writing experience. My person keys still live on the shelf like they did in the house, but I might take them off and use that space. Go put those by the door or something. But I have my little desk situation and my other desk situation. So there you go.